Ngezake ngithu disibheka ngaphi mhlawumbe usuguqukile sihlezi simangala mihla lamalanga ukuthi kanti lokho kuvelayo kuvela ngaphi.
There is mismanagement of culture dynamics. Therefore, you find that people can introduce certain things that are not within that culture.
The same way I'm a point, I wouldn't expect people to go there and start singing in the funeral. Right? So my custom that I've been developed is I need you all to sleep.
For them, I believe they were driven either by drugs or alcohol, or they were under the influence of something.
Recently, a video of a couple having sex on top of a grave in front of mourners went viral. The video drew great criticism from all corners of society, with some even calling the act taboo. The shocking event took place just after the burial of a brothel owner. A commercial sex worker only identified as Maikisha stripped naked and was later joined by a male mourner who engaged in sexual acts with her in full view of other mourners. Similar acts have been in other viral funeral videos of prominent thieves, sex workers, and vendors. Funeral parties known as after tears have also been on the rise, leading many to ask the question, where do these new rituals come from?
Kodwa ke lokhu okuthinta umuntu osedlule kutsha. Yebo kwakukhona kwakusenziwa kudala kodwa ke isidumbu sasihlonitshwa umuntu angavela atshona. Ingani nje khona ukunyathela phezulu kwethuna. Kwakusesabeka sikhula thina kwakuthunga nyathela ithuna uyadabuka yokuzinyawo. Ithuna lapho elikhona sasinqenqa sibilo bona ukuthi uhamba kude lethuna.
In another viral video of glorified criminal Boris Mushonga, whose funeral procession was held in pomp and fanfare as his comrades in crime said their farewell with gunshots and skidding cars. The spectacle ends with the corpse of the deceased on the ground, much to the shock of the mourners.
You find that abantu bafuna umphelekezela ngendlela akade ephila ngakhona. That's their way of mourning. And as some instances we say we are celebrating the life of a departed soul. But it's debatable because sometimes you cannot celebrate a young person who have actually done nothing wrong. But people must be allowed to cry ngendlela yabo abafuna ukumona ngayo umuntu.
From my understanding is when people come together, whether because of work, whether because of different professions or something that brings them together, customs are usually made in the process, right? And that's how culture develops. To say this is our way of doing things, we believe in order for us to coexist, in order for us to have an identity, this is how we wish to do things, right? So everyone has got the right to develop a custom. There is nothing that legislates against custom to say this is not supposed to be done, right? So from my understanding, is individuality of the one. When I'm looking at it, these are people who are within a practice, right? And within that practice, they found the best way to celebrate and to capture the things that they do best and to send off the person that they honor and love, right? Is to do and enact exactly what the person lived for and believed in, right? Their core values. The same way as a person, we now, let's say, you die with the say that I don't know the bedroom trying to but it would be ideal to then reenact what you do. The same way with people who are trying to call this, when one of their own dies, they go around trying to make what? Like whether it's disorder or whatsoever, but they go around displaying what they do. The same way a dancer, when a dancer dies, people need to dance, right? When a soldier dies, the same way you go and do 21 gun salute is the same way that they're doing. They're creating a custom which identifies them and which sort of like sets them apart as a people.
Funerals in African tradition are full of respectful rituals for both the deceased and the family, to a point that mourners will lie about the life the deceased lived.
Lona ithuna lalithi umuntu angazange ngcwatshwe lalifakwa amatshe ayinkwahla izadinga amatshe laphana ngokwesiko labantu amatshe aze awethuna beliphathwa libe linye lo uphethe lakhe fika aqhubele balifake ithuna belingasali liluhlaza ngemva kwalokhu bese kudingwa ke isihlahla lese kuthiwa ngumlahla abantu umphafa yawazi umphafa yobo ufakwa phezulu kwethuna angazi ke khona lapho ukuthi mhlawumbe yikho bekusenza ukuthi limkhube esiyibonayo namhlanje yayingenziwa yayingasitholi isikhathi sokuthi ingenziwa angithi ubususithi ke kuyibuthakathi yini xa ubuthakathi obenziwa abantu bekhangele emini ngelikabha hayi ubuye ukusole usithi pho kuyini.
There are certain things that are overdone. There are certain things that are really unacceptable. Phakathi kwabantu, you see people doing things that are illicit, things that are very wrong. Even socially speaking, alokhu wrong, lokhu right. I know people may say we are not all Christians, but there is a culture that we are coming from. There is a social setup that people are coming from. So, abantu they create their own norms, they create their own rights, and they've got the power to say these things are wrong in our society, and these things are okay in our society as well.
In this new era, funerals have transformed into a major circus of illicit practices that are shared and celebrated. So how do these funeral parades of sex, alcohol, and dancing reflect on African culture, tradition, and religion?
With cases like Chaga, even in our own locals in Southern Africa, whereby Chaga buried his mother with 10 virgins and stuff like that. But those things weren't documented in terms of pictures, so no one was there to really come and criticize, right? But now, this was criticizing because one, we've seen. Two, the world has changed to say, in terms of the things that we're facing, our cultures have been mixed by so many things. Where this emanated from the right place to say, when a person lives their life, we need to celebrate what they did, right? But now we're also a culture that is hypocritical to say, as much as we purchase these services, we're still there saying that it's what? It's not a right practice, right? Because we want to appear moral before what? Before the public, but behind our closed doors, we are just who we are.
Kwakungekho nxa kwakukhona ngakubhaliwe kwenye indawo imkhuba yabantu idocumentiwe ukuthi hayi uhlobo lwabantu abathile nxa bengcwaba bathi akukho mbhalo mhlawumbe ngiyakhutha engathi mina ngeke ngakubona lokho ukuthi hayi uhlobo oluthile nxa lungcwabayo lwalenze lokho futhi ke bese ngisithi uthathwa moya bani ethuneni lomuntu obhubhileyo osanda kungcwatshwa uyadida lokho kuyadida lokho.
Okay, so for me, I take it as just a custom for now. Because for it to be a tradition, the custom needs to be given to the next generation. So the traditions have got that element of longevity. To say generation after generation is what we do. A custom is a practice, the same way you come and clean your legs, right? Before you take it outside a video and everything, right? It's a custom. It's not yet a tradition because you have spread the knowledge across generations, right? So for them, it's a custom. One that they had to have consensus as what people like sex with us.
Namhlanje kukhona abantu imikhuba le kuthiwa kungaze kubhubhe umuntu kusiya ngokuthi umsebenzi wakhe abewenza kakhulu kuvame ebantwini abatsha ukuthi mhlawumbe lalisela amasela abesebenza lawo mhla encwatshwayo aza kugwaqa kube lemphutshana yobusela ababebenza ngesikhathi saphila xa yayingumuntu owayesebenza umbhobho uyaqhuma izibhamu ziqhume ungabusakwazi ukuthi ukezwane. Yebo kudala kwakukhona ukuthi nxa zazizingwazi zabantu ababezingwazi ingwazi ngazibhubhi kwakule ndlela yabo ababebonisa ngayo umhlonipha lwana umuntu hayi ngalokho esikubonileyo ukuthi ile ingwazi yani ukulala.
I think it is because of if it's a poor community, so maybe people will be protesting in some way. It is now up to maybe leaders or any concerned people to visit that community and find out why they are behaving the way they are behaving. Some of them they are borrowing from other developed communities where they come and wrongly apply that into this community that has not gone through stages of development to reach that level.
Experts note that such practices originate from poor communities and minority groups. People who are on the fringes of society seem to be at the forefront of these practices and their creation.
Iza kuba poverty in a way ibuye ibe ukuthi sekukhona abantu who capitalize on death. Namhla ukufa yadula umuntu angaze abhubhe lizakhupha imali elingazange liyikhuphe esaphila. Yikho kusiba lama burial societies ukuthi umuntu kuba le mali ekhutshwayo ukuthi mhlazana ebhubhayo imlondoloze. Kodwa ke uzafica ukuthi ukufa kwakudala kwakungahluphi nje umuntu mhlawumbe nxa yayibhubhile ekhaya engumuntu lomzi wakhe kwakudingwa ke inkomo yakhe ihlatshwe embeswe ngesikhumba abantu badla inyama ayengcwatshwa kuphela.
Women are usually victimized in almost everything that's happening in the society, which is bad. Women are usually victimized. In this case, I assume she didn't do it on her own. There was a man involved. But at the end of the day, the woman will be blamed for acting that way. So then you wonder how the society views, a man who is engaged in such acts. But then at the end of the day, they blame the woman. But it's both parties who engaged in such an act. But the woman was the one who was blamed. So speaking from a feminist point of view, I would say, women are at they are always at the recipients of the downfalls of the society. They're always the wrong ones. So we speak up, and at the end of the day, we're always wrong, we're always proved wrong. But she wasn't on her own. There was a man who was acting, there was a man who was participating in that act.
It looked like the lady was the one who was more in the video and by herself. You find that behind that, there are women also there. But of course, she looks like she is the one inciting that action. I'm not sure whether we can say the woman was a victim of all those men or all those men that were around there. I'm not sure if we can really say that. But she looked like she was the one who was actually provoking it. Can I do this? And the men were responding to say, yes, you can. And they were seemingly excited. And when you watch very closely, you find that men are actually giving her money. And she was carrying money, and then I think whatever happened later, it was because she had also solicited for if you give me money, I will perform this.
To me, it's just a case of identity. Identity always faces, what you call this, like a lot of doubts, a lot of questions. The same way you are a black person, I'm a black person, there are always other people with their own beliefs related to that, culturally, religiously, whatsoever, to whatever identity you identify, right? So if this is done in a closed environment by adults and consenting adults, right, there's nothing wrong with it. It's like going to someone's bedroom and then saying that what they're doing is wrong. Right? So if the environment allows it, no one is documenting, then it's okay. But now the legality of it comes in a case whereby you are now putting it in public. And now putting it in public, the bad part of it that people don't understand in these cases, it's not just the people who are in the act who are wrong. It's the people who have witnessed the act, people who have shot the act, and the people who almost did the act. In that moment.
Just generally speaking, I know people may say we are not all Christians, but we've got values that we have as a country, as a tribe, as a social strata. So we have got to uphold those values and customs.
I-future will be determined ngabantu ababukayo. Umfanekiso ngokuliwe. Abantu abatsha lapha. Abatholakala lapha. Angibabona ngabantu abakhulu. Ukuze sithi abakhulu bethe bekubona bakukhuzile yini. Uyakhuzeka yini? Njengoba abantwana besenza abakwenzayo, ungabazi abantwana bengaphandle. Ngaphandle komzi wakho benza kuphi. Abantwana namhlanje bathola freedom ongeke batshele khona. 18 years umntwana kuthiwa sekhulile. Usengazenzela akufunayo. That will include khona lokho okubonile. Ongeke umbambe namhlanje wenzani. Kodwa ke lapha phela avela khona. Kuyenziwa yini? Umbuzo esingaba lawo, abantwana baya ngaphi? Abantwana abenza lokhu baya ngaphi? Xa kusenziwa yila abantwana, abantu ababesenza.
In the era of globalization, the protection of African culture, traditions, and religion has become paramount in these ever-changing times. Funerals are part of our identity and spirituality. It will be interesting as to how we deal with these challenges in the modern era.